Sonic might be the fastest hedgehog or, living being around. Unless you watched our recent video on Sonic and Shadow. But when it comes to the bedroom, well, the guy has some issues. Besides the kinda creepy BoJack Horseman-like bestiality from Sonic 06, the Blue Blur's main love interest, if you can call it love, has always been his pink-haired companion, Amy Rose. I shouldn't even have to tell you that this relationship is fucked up. Just look at the way they interact. Amy is obsessed with him like a 12-year-old boy is obsessed with jacking it. Yeah, I know you're doing it, Jimmy. Everybody knows. You aren't being as subtle as you think. And, fun fact, I'm recording this and making such highbrow jokes from New York City, cause why not extend the travel-loving excitement of PAX East? We're staying in a tiny New York apartment, and so had to improvise with the greatest voiceover setup ever. Oh, I'm just kidding, it sucks, and I feel like an otter with the microphone on my stomach. But let's get back to Amy. Does anyone like Amy? I don't just mean Sonic, I mean in real life. Does anyone like Amy? She's clingy, she's annoying, she's obsessive. She's basically the epitome of a bad girlfriend. When your friend winds up dating someone like her, you hold a funeral for them because you know you'll never see your buddy ever again. It's a sad state of affairs. But these personality traits can be used to figure out what's going on inside Amy's head. While some people can tend to be clingy or overly obsessive about their partners, there's almost always a reason for their obsessive hang-on-for-dear-life behavior. So, let's get into it, shall we? As always, when we're talking about a relationship, if you can even call it that for Sonic and Amy, we have to start at the beginning to try to figure out what happened. So put on your, history goggles? Cause we're taking a trip back to shitty graphics land, baby. Amy was first introduced to the Sonic franchise in Sonic CD, which was such a new and amazing piece of technology that they actually spelled out what CD stood for on the cover. At this point, Amy was known for liking the mythical and mysterious. So she predicted through the use of her tarot cards that she would meet Sonic on a little planet, a satellite planet that only appears once every year. Unfortunately for Sonic, her prediction turned out to be true, and bada bing bada boom, Sonic and Amy meet. Let's take a look at this meeting though. Amy is so head over heels for this blue Kurt Cobain reincarnation that she's literally farting hearts at the sight of Sonic. Something tells me they don't smell like roses, even though that's what her name suggests. But what's truly weird here is her immediate obsession with Sonic despite never having met him before. So let's dig a little deeper into that. First off, love at first sight isn't a real thing. Much like Santa, the stork, and college leading to a job, it's a fantasy made up for young people. You can be attracted to someone at first sight. You can even become infatuated with someone immediately. After meeting someone for the first time, you might think you're in love with them, but you aren't. Obviously, Amy hasn't been watching my other videos about relationships, or she'd realize that she isn't in love with Sonic. She's merely obsessed with him. So let's compare Amy's behavior to the behavior of other couples we've looked into, and see if we can start to figure out what her deal is. First off, let's take a look at Amy compared to Princess Peach and see if there's any similarities, or differences. Well, back when we looked at Mario and Peach, we came to the conclusion that Peach and Mario are in a codependent relationship, with Peach playing the role of the dependent. She constantly needs to be rescued and continually relies on Mario for that support. Can we say the same about Amy? Honestly, not really. While Sonic has needed to rescue her pink ass a few times, specifically early on in her Sonic career, during later games she's become much more independent, and has even rescued Sonic. Amy has become a core member of the Sonic franchise, and is now a playable and capable character with her hammer as her primary weapon. So it's pretty safe to say that while something is going on, we can't label Amy as a dependent or codependent. Now that we've checked those off the list, let's take a look at Asuna and Kirito and see if we can learn anything about Amy through their relationship. I don't want to spoil our recent video, so if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and click that I button in the upper right before going any further in this video. Or, if you don't give a fuck, then keep watching. I'm not your mom, do whatever you want. During our analysis of Asuna and Kirito, we came to the conclusion that these two are love avoidants, which means that they desire companionship, but once inside a relationship, they seek intensity and intimacy outside the relationship. Does Amy fit this role? Definitely not. Every time we've seen Amy, she's always obsessed with Sonic, following him around, trying to grab his attention, even asking him to marry her in exchange for Amy rescuing him from prison. If anything, she's the exact opposite of a love avoidant. She is overly obsessed with her partner. She drains Sonic of his emotional capacity and continually tries to create intensity and intimacy with him even in the most inopportune moments. Case in point, refer back to that marriage proposal during a prison break break. So if Amy is the exact opposite of a love avoidant, then she's a love addict. So what does that mean? Love addicts are endlessly searching for that special someone, the person who will make them feel whole. In Amy's case, that person is Sonic. While love addicts often attract the people they want to be with, they are usually more attracted to the experience of falling in love than the actual healthy relationship that occurs after. Because of this, they spend way too much time hunting for that one person, and nearly all of their life choices and desires revolve around that person. When they aren't in a relationship, they seem desperate and alone. And once they are in a relationship, they are even more desperate to please their partner for fear that their partner will leave them. Tell me this doesn't sound like Amy Rose. She's constantly thinking about her romantic relationship with Sonic to the point of obsession. She spends nearly all her time chasing after him or thinking about him. Her introduction to the series was not a chance meeting, but her using tarot cards to predict where to find Sonic so she could go find him. She seems incredibly desperate for Sonic's attention, and once she has it, she clings onto him because of her fear of being left alone. The thing is, we've never actually seen her emotions on the other end of the love addiction spectrum. Normally in love addiction, once the addict is in the relationship, their feelings change because the chase to find love is over. But with Amy and Sonic, Amy has never actually gotten to that point. Sure, in the comics, Sonic has said he loves her, but in the games, this never happened. And this is a gaming channel, people. Don't go throwing comics in my face and be all like, but look at page 65 of episode of Jillian where Sonic and Amy's tails touch! No, that's not evidence to the contrary, people! In the games, the two have never gotten past the chasing love phase. So Amy continues to be stuck in her obsessive love addiction with Sonic, keeping her in an endless chase after him. She needs to work through these obsessive feelings and come to terms with her addiction. Or not only will she never have Sonic, but she'll never be able to truly love anyone else either. But hey, that's just my view on Amy's feelings for Sonic. I'm curious about yours. This is just one way of looking at the relationship between these two hedgehogs, and maybe you think I'm completely wrong. If so, I want to know why. I also want to mention that the stuff we've been talking about, like love addiction, love avoidance, and codependency, are real issues that people deal with every day, and they're extremely complicated. I try to explain them as simply as possible in these videos, but if you really want to understand them better, there's tons of websites and books you can find that'll help you better understand what we're discussing. That's my little PSA about the relationship stuff we've been talking about. If you feel like any of this applies to you or someone you know, it's good to do your own reading instead of comparing your relationships to what I say about a hedgehog. I've really been enjoying analyzing video game couples, so please let me know who else you'd like me to take a stab at next. Other than that, do the bell thing, and stay tuned for a long-awaited Sonic video coming out next week. You guys are the best, and I'll see you next time.